Hey Grand Adventurers, welcome back. I'm your host, Mark Guido, and we've landed for the first time on the Central California coast, about midway between Los Angeles and San Francisco. We're here to see Hearst Castle, Morro Bay, San Simeon, Cambria, and the entire Central California coast south of Big Sur. Come along. Hearst San Simeon State Park was carved out of a portion of what was once publishing tycoon William Randolph Hearst's country estate on California's Big Sur South Coast. The obvious centerpiece of this state park is the famed Hearst Castle, which we'll bring you to momentarily. But there's much to be said about the rest of the park and its beautiful surroundings. The majestic waves of the broad Pacific Ocean crash ashore all along the coastline, on either side of the state park. There are many things that I expected to see along this beautiful stretch of California coast, but zebras aren't one of them. Hearst was a collector of all things he believed to be valuable, and as an animal lover, animals from around the world qualified for collecting. He assembled the largest private zoo in the world, including lions, gazelles, polar bears, and more, including, yes, zebras. These majestic creatures are descendants of the zebras collected by Hearst, and today graze freely alongside the cattle of the Hearst Ranch. Less than 10 miles north of the state park, one can't-miss stop sits alongside California Route 1. This is a rare chance to look practically straight down at an elephant seal rookery. The fall haul-out is taking place during our late October visit. This is when juveniles of both sexes return from their post-molt migration. They've been at sea since their molt in the spring, and as youngsters they come ashore in the fall and are social again. Without the buoyancy of the water, their bones and land muscles will strengthen. Some may stay long enough to observe the older males that weigh 3,500 to 5,000 pounds, begin arriving late in November for the birthing and breeding season. The site is governed by the Bureau of Land Management. There is no fee for parking and viewing the seals. Hearst San Simeon State Park includes 2 campgrounds set just back from the beach. Both are dry camping only. Although the campgrounds accommodate RVs and trailers up to 35 feet, the lower San Simeon Creek Campground, in close proximity to both Route 1 and the beach across the highway, is mostly comprised of smaller sites that we wouldn't fit into, squeezed between trees, some of which are tall enough to obstruct Starlink or limit solar production. So instead, we're in the upper Washburn Campground, set atop a small hill less than a mile away. Here we're treated to views of the Santa Lucia Mountains, but not the ocean, as the park's website claims. We're paying $20 per night, which by California standards is practically free. There's a dump station in the lower campground, but I find it irksome that paid registered campers still have to separately pay the $10 dump fee. There's a combination trail and boardwalk that leads from Washburn Campground past Simeon Creek Campground and out onto the beach. Although it's easily walkable at approximately a mile long, I'm thinking that this is a perfect mission for a fat tire e-bike. That bike ride on the beach was the bomb. Also part of the state park, in 1542, the coastal exploration of Juan Cabrillo discovered this bay and named it the Bay of Sardines. On the shores of the bay, San Simeon was founded in 1797 within a Mexican land grant that owner Jose de Jesus Pico sold in 1865 to George Hearst, the father of William Randolph Hearst. It was established as a submission to Mission San Miguel Archangel, located to the east across the Santa Lucia Range. Hearst built the predecessor of this pier, and this general store first opened to support a small community of Portuguese shore whalers who settled here. The Sebastian family operated the store for 94 years. Aside from the Hearst family, other prominent customers are reported to have included Thomas Edison, Calvin Coolidge, George Bernard Shaw, and Winston Churchill. We'll visit Hearst Castle, the nearby communities of Cambria and Morro Bay, take a drive up the spectacularly scenic Cabrillo Highway, and much more, right after we take a quick break for an important message from our valued video sponsor, Brooklyn Bedding. Improve your sleep while camping with a new RV mattress from our video sponsor, Brooklyn Bedding. They offer 4 different mattress constructions in 21 different sizes, depending on preference and price point. Everything from standard queen to all of those funky, odd RV sizes. Brooklyn Bedding manufactures all of its mattresses right at their factory in Arizona. And RVmattress.com ships them right to your door for free, all rolled up and compressed in a vacuum seal. Just cut the wrap to unroll the mattress onto your bed, then cut the vacuum seal. For our mattress, Brooklyn Bedding starts with a layer of high-density foam for a supported base. Just above the base, an 8-inch core of over 1,000 individually encased coils provides the essential support. Immediately above the coils is a 1-inch layer of memory foam and 2-inch layer of hyperelastic TitanFlex foam. Finally, at the very top is a 1.5-inch layer of antimicrobial Copperflex foam with TitanCool, which is designed to maintain an ideal sleep body temperature of 88 degrees. Every RV mattress from Brooklyn Bedding comes with a limited lifetime warranty and a 120-night sleep trial. Visit rvmattress.com/grandadventure and use code GRANDADVENTURE to get a full 30% off your entire order. Hearst Castle was built by William Randolph Hearst from 1919 to 1947, and today is open to the public as a museum, operated as part of Hearst San Simeon State Park. It is registered as a National Historic Landmark and California Historical Landmark. The Hearst family used Camp Hill for family camping excursions overlooking the Pacific Ocean, 1,600 feet of elevation below. However, in 1919, Hearst commissioned architect Julia Morgan to build something a little more comfortable up on the hill. Along with his mistress, actress Marion Davies, Hearst welcomed guests including Hollywood stars Charlie Chaplin, Cary Grant, the Marx Brothers, Greta Garbo, Buster Keaton, Bob Hope, Jean Harlow, and Clark Gable. Other notable guests over the years included Calvin Coolidge, Winston Churchill, and Charles Lindbergh. Hearst died in Los Angeles in 1951. Following his death, the Hearst family gave the castle and many of its contents to the state of California, although the Hearst Company has retained ownership of the larger 82,000-acre estate. The mansion was opened to the public in June 1958 and has operated ever since as the Hearst San Simeon State Historical Monument. It attracts about 750,000 visitors annually. Access to the castle and the grounds is by scheduled tour only. Visitors may reserve tickets in advance online, and tours begin with a bus ride from the visitor center up Camp Hill to the castle itself. The castle was the inspiration for Xanadu, and Hearst himself the main model for Charles Foster Kane in Orson Welles' 1941 film Citizen Kane. Hearst hated the comparison and undertook substantial effort to minimize the film and damage Welles' career. Out of several tours offered, we've opted for the Grand Rooms Tour of Casa Grande, the one recommended for first-time visitors. Casa Grande is the main home on the Hearst Castle property, surrounded by 3 guest houses. It covers an astounding 68,500 square feet and includes 42 bedrooms, 61 bathrooms, and 19 sitting rooms. The outdoor first half of our tour begins at the famed Neptune Pool, which was reconstructed 3 times before Hearst was finally satisfied. It's equipped with 17 shower and changing rooms and was heated by oil-fired burners. One of the 3 guest houses, Casa del Sol, overlooks Neptune Pool, built in a Moorish decorative style accentuated by antique Persian tiles. It's 3,620 square feet. Hearst was often quoted as saying that the views were the best quality of his country estate. Many pieces of artwork imported from around the world decorate the elaborate gardens lining the quarter-mile esplanade, which surrounds Casa Grande. This Egyptian statue, 3,600 years old, is the oldest piece in Hearst's collection here. The main western facade of Casa Grande is 4 stories tall. The entrance front, inspired by a gateway in Seville, is flanked by twin bell towers modeled on the tower of the Church of Santa Maria la Mayor. The gable was constructed in Siamese teak, originally intended to outfit a ship. The entire building is faced with Manti limestone quarried in Utah. In conceiving the design, over 30 ceilings, door cases, fireplaces, and mantels, entire monasteries, paneling, and a medieval tithe barn were purchased from Europe, shipped to Hearst's Brooklyn warehouses, and transported on to California. Famed playwright George Bernard Shaw described it as what God would have built if he had the money. The assembly room is the main reception room of the castle, completed in 1926 and covering 2,500 square feet. The room held some of Hearst's best tapestries. The ceiling comes from an Italian palazzo. The refectory was the only dining room in the castle and was built between 1926 and 1927. The choir stalls which line the walls are from a cathedral in Catalonia, Spain. The style of the room is Gothic, in contrast to the Renaissance approach adopted in the preceding assembly room. The central tables from an Italian monastery provided seating for 22 in its usual arrangement of 2 tables, which could be extended to 3 or 4 on the occasion of larger gathering. The billiard room sits in the castle's north wing, whose construction began in 1929. It was converted from the original breakfast room and features a Spanish antique ceiling and a French fireplace. It contains the oldest tapestry in the castle, a millefleur hunting scene woven in Flanders in the 15th century. After dinner, and perhaps following a game of billiards, guests would gather in the castle's movie theater, the largest room in the building, where Hearst would screen first-run movies for his guests. The theater accommodated 50 guests and had an electric keyboard that enabled the bells in the carillon towers to be played. These tennis courts doubled as the roof for the property's other swimming pool, the Roman Pool. The more than 2 million tiles encasing the Roman Pool are of Murano glass with gold leaf, and were designed and manufactured in San Francisco. Although a pool of spectacular beauty, it was little used, as it was located in a less visited part of the complex. We'll head to Cambria and Morro Bay, hug the cliffs above the Pacific along the Cabrillo Highway, go for a hike, and more right after we take a quick ad break. So stay tuned. The nearest town to our campground is just 2.5 miles to the south, nestled among the Monterey Pines at Cambria. Settlers were drawn to the area in the 1860s by its fertile land, streams, and lumber, and by the 1862 discovery of cinnabar, an ore from which mercury can be extracted. Today, people are drawn to the area's tourism and natural beauty. Cambria has benefited greatly from its proximity to Hearst Castle, both for construction jobs during the Great Depression and for the tourists that the castle brings to the area today. There are two separate downtown village cores, separated by roughly a quarter mile, that are filled with shops, restaurants, bars, and boutiques, and both are eminently walkable. They're holding a scarecrow contest for Halloween throughout Cambria, with some very creative entries. With both rocky cliffs and beaches, and the character that the Monterey Pines lend to the landscape, the Moonstone Beach is a third popular part of town, featuring a 1.5-mile boardwalk with several beach access points and benches to allow for sea life observation and beachcombing, lined by numerous hotels, motels, and restaurants. Further afield, about a half-hour's drive south of our campground, are the adjacent communities of Cayucos and Morro Bay. Morro is Spanish for hill, which when you first see Morro Rock makes total sense. This prominent feature guarding the harbor, 576 feet tall, invisible from just about anywhere in town, is a lava plug, remnant of an ancient volcano. Morro Rock was originally surrounded by water, but the northern channel was filled in with quarried rock from 1889 to 1969 to make the harbor. Climbing the rock is prohibited due to the risk of injury and because it's a peregrine falcon reserve. Morro Bay is one of California's largest estuaries and an important protected harbor. It's the only all-weather, small craft, commercial, and recreational harbor between Santa Barbara and Monterey. The first recorded Filipinos to visit America arrived at Morro Bay aboard a Spanish galleon in 1587. The Spanish Portola expedition camped near Morro Bay in September 1769, with Franciscan missionary and expedition member Juan Crespi noting in his diary, "We saw a great rock in the form of a rounded Morro." The town of Morro Bay was founded by Franklin Riley in 1870 as a port for the export of dairy and ranch products. He was instrumental in the building of a wharf, which has now become the Embarcadero, Morro Bay's main tourist area. During the 1870s, schooners could often be seen at the Embarcadero, picking up wool, potatoes, barley, and dairy products. The Embarcadero lines the east side of the bay. It's a great walking experience along a working port and eco-tourist destination. A variety of marine life resides here, from sea otters to sea lions, and the town is a declared bird sanctuary. Tourism is now the city's largest industry, coexisting with the town's commercial fishery. Although abalone fishing here has declined since the 1950s due to overfishing, commercial and sport vessels still bring in halibut, sole, rockfish, albacore, and many other species here. In addition, oysters are grown by aquaculture in the shallow Back Bay. The most popular beach in town is located on the north side of Morro Rock. There's another state park campground in Morro Bay, squeezed between the water of the bay and a lush golf course. We'll hit the Cabrillo Highway and do a little hiking right after we take a quick ad break, so stay tuned. We're traveling north today along the big Sur South Coast for 43 miles from our campground, past numerous sea stacks and hugging the steep slopes of the Santa Lucia Range, along the Cabrillo Highway, one of California's most famous drives. These rugged mountains, which stretch for 140 miles from the Cayama River near Pismo Beach to the city of Carmel, form the steepest coastal slope in the contiguous United States. They presented a significant barrier to early Spanish explorers documenting the coast of Central California. The range never strays more than 11 miles from the coast, and its highest peak, 5,158-foot Cone Peak, sits only 3 miles from the ocean, yet tops out at nearly a mile above sea level. It's the highest peak in proximity to the ocean in the lower 48 United States. The higher peaks of the Santa Lucias do receive some snowfall during the winter, and during the summer, fog and low clouds are frequent up to an elevation of 2,000 to 3,000 feet. Anyone up for some elk jerky? Here, just above the road in a magical narrow gorge named Redwood Gulch, sits Nathaniel Owings Memorial Redwood Grove, the southernmost grove of California's famed coastal redwoods. There's one phenomenal campground up here that we just have to show you, which has now been placed on our future visit list. That's Kirk Creek, a U.S. Forest Service dry campground perched atop a cliff overlooking the pounding Pacific. There are 33 sites here for RVs or tents for $45 per night, with access to trails for hiking and biking in the beach below. All are reservable, save for only 2 first-come, first-served sites. RVs are limited to 30 feet, although we saw quite a few sites that could accommodate our 33-foot fifth wheel. You may have noticed a surprising lack of traffic throughout this entire drive that typically hosts a sea of cars. And the further north we go, the fewer vehicles we encounter. That's because soon, about 20 miles south of Big Sur, we're going to be forced to turn around. Just beyond here, the road has been closed for the next 6.8 miles since February 2024, when Regent Slide released a torrent of mud and rocks upon Route 1, 450 feet below, just north of Lucia. The entire route from San Simeon to Carmel hasn't been open since January 2023, blocking our access to some of Big Sur's best-known attractions, but turning this stretch of California 1 south of the closure into a very lonely road. While we can't get our own view of the Regent Slide, the situation is very similar to here at Paul's Slide just a few miles south, where highway crews have built a structure resembling an avalanche shed to keep slide debris off the roadway. At Regent's Slide, Caltrans has been working ever since trying to reopen the road, using a top-down method to try to stabilize the hillside above the highway. It's currently scheduled to reopen in March 2026, barring any unforeseen delays. Reaching Big Sur, barely only 20 miles northwest of the closure, requires a 3-hour and 15-minute detour. The marine layer that so often drapes this coastline is prevalent this afternoon. Nevertheless, we're going to get out for a little hike to the tip of San Simeon Point via the San Simeon Bay Trail, a 3.8-mile out and back route. The trail begins at the San Simeon Bay Pier. From the parking lot here, the first stretch of the route is along this picturesque beach as the waves crash onto the sand. Towards the north end of the beach, follow a path up above the beach into a eucalyptus grove. This is where you cross onto land owned by the Hearst Corporation, but open to the public. At first, the route is uneventful and surrounded by imported eucalyptus and pine. I've seen animals along the trail, but not wild ones. There's your Hearst Ranch grass-fed beef. I've reached the payoff waiting at the point, where tides lap on a little sand beach, waves crash on dramatic black rocks, and pelicans and seagulls perch on sea stacks. Continuing north from the point, the route seems obvious, lined with golden wood chips. We hope that you've enjoyed visiting this beautiful stretch of the Central California coast, surrounding Hearst San Simeon State Park with us. If you enjoyed this episode, it is extremely important to us that you give us a huge thumbs up down below. And while you're down below, that's where you'll find the comments section, where we'd love to hear from you each and every week, because we produce new outdoor RV adventure travel videos each and every Wednesday. We're going to get packed up here and go camping next week, not at the beach, but on the beach. So if you're not yet a grand adventurer yourself, there is no better time than right now for you to go smash that little subscribe button right down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen and ring that notification bell to be sure that you never miss a grand adventure. We'd be honored if you shared the channel with your friends, family, and on social media. So until next Wednesday from Oceano Dunes, please remember life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.